What is up, guys? This is your boy Superior Swimmer, and today we're going to be reviewing the Sims 4 Lovestruck expansion pack. This is the 16th expansion pack to come to the Sims 4, which focuses on romance for your Sims, adds new layers and features to make the romance more complex. Now, starting off with the build and buy, this is definitely a very mixed bag. Looking at the build and buy, I generally do like the build and buy here. It definitely has a lot of callbacks to the previous game. So if you play the Sims 1 on console, which I have, or you've played the Sims 1 on PC, or more specifically, if you play the Sims 1 house party, there are a lot of objects here that will give you like that nostalgia. So yeah, there's a bunch of new love seats, chairs, couches, end tables, bar stools, also different bars, flooring, and wallpaper. There's new decal options as well. But unfortunately, there isn't any new kitchen counters, so that's where it kind of starts to lack a little bit. I do like that there is a lot more color with this catalog. It's not just blues and greens, which I feel like they heavily do in a lot of different packs, and not just, you know, build and buy, but also cast. There's more orange and yellows, which I feel like is definitely needed for our build and buy. Now I want to say there's about 4 new gameplay objects, starting off with the heart bed. I know some people call it like the love bed, the vibrating bed. There's so many different terms people use, but yeah, this is definitely a callback to the Sims 1 if you played on console. I think this was the only way you could actually have kids in the Sims 1 was with this heart bed. You couldn't just woohoo on any bed and have a kid. You needed this bed specifically, or by default just, you know, romance the sim and kiss them and then you'll have like a kid. So yeah, having this back is really cool. It actually does vibrate as well, so you can like turn on the setting and it'll vibrate forever. And it also does have like RGB in the back where like the heart is, so you can like change the colors and it'll like represent that color, so you can have it like pink, blue. And there's so many different types of swatches. You have like the classic look of the heart bed, but then you can also have like a pink heart bed or like one with like cheetah print. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of different types of swatches, so you're not just stuck with like the classic heart bed look or just like a few. There's a lot of different swatches to choose from. Now, for my playtesting, I didn't get any moodlets from using the heart bed. Like, it wasn't like, oh, like the vibrations were amazing. Like, you know what I mean? It didn't really do anything. It was just kind of more aesthetic. I could have missed it. I checked the moodlets and I didn't get any type of moodlet for like the vibrating bed. So I don't know if that was just like an oversight for them, or maybe they just thought they didn't need to add like a moodlet. But yeah, I didn't get any like unique moodlets when using it, so keep that in mind. Now, the second gameplay object is the costume chest, which I didn't know came in the Sims 1 house party. Again, I played the Sims 1 on console, so again, a lot of these objects weren't converted to the Sims 1 on console, besides like the heart bed and some other stuff. But yeah, the costume box is now back, and you can use it to change into different types of outfits. So with the creative sim, which I'll talk about later, they did add a bunch of different costumes. So you can wear like a catfish costume, you can wear a maid outfit, a doctor's outfit, and you can just ask your Sims to change their regular outfits to like formal or everyday or swimwear. And you can just call Sims that are in the area to come and change, which is really cool. And then as you can see here, they do change into a different outfit. So yeah, it's really cool. It's nice for role playing, so I really like how they implemented that. Now lastly, there's a new party game called Who's Up Party Games. I think that's the name. And there's 2 variations of it. The first one is how to play thumbs up. So what I found cool about this game is that you can use this as a way to build friendship, and you can play with like up to 6 players. And then you have the second variation, which is called woohoo. It's basically like the romance variation of the first game. The second one is definitely better because not only does it increase your friendship, it also increases the romance with other Sims. And you can also learn turn on and turn offs with your sim. And again, we'll talk about that later. So it definitely helps if your sim has a crush on another sim and they're trying to learn their turn on and turn offs. Lastly, there is a new rug that is in the game. Your Sims can have that in your inventory and go anywhere and like start picnics. And then depending on the day, they can either watch the clouds together or like stargaze. They can also like do some romantic interactions like cuddle. Well, if I'm being honest though, I thought the cuddling was a little bit awkward. It just didn't seem comfortable. It just looked weird. And then you can also woohoo on it. Now shout out to Iron Seagull, because he did mention on Twitter that when they wrap up in the animation and you start to woohoo, there's like a little glitch where it like skips to them just doing it. It's very subtle. You won't notice it your first time you look at it because it happens so fast, but that is a thing. So hopefully they do fix that. And to be fair, a lot of the other interactions, like I mentioned before, with like the picnic stuff, we already have that with the Sims 4 Cottage Living. I think it was definitely a missed opportunity to add more gameplay objects. Now overall, how I feel about build and buy and the gameplay objects is I just wish there was more of it. Like what's here is really fun and really cool. Again, the new Who's Up Party game is really cool because again, you're learning other Sims like turn on and turn offs, and you're building up that friendship. I just wish there was more of it. Again, like with the Sims 1 house party, you could have like people just like jump out of cakes. I feel like that would have been really cool to introduce. I feel like this pack would have been perfect to bring back pool tables. I don't know, maybe spin the bottle for teenagers, just so like more life stages can be included in a pack like this. I think overall, if you are a builder and you strictly just build in the Sims, maybe you do both, but maybe you're specifically a builder, this pack I feel like is going to be very limiting. It's not really going to give you like new stuff to build. I feel like the build buy at the end of the day is kind of disappointing, only because it's just lacking. Like what's there is good, but we just need more of it. Again, more gameplay objects, more romanceable stuff to do with your Sims. Definitely could have made this pack a lot better. Okay, now moving on to create a sim. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm going to be straight up because that's what I do in all my videos. I personally thought the creative sim was really bad this time around. I actually was kind of shocked how hard it was to find clothing, not just for my male sims, surprise surprise, but also for my female sims. A lot of the clothes in this pack I feel like are more gimmicky and like, you know, for like the costume box and just more of like going out on dates. There's not really everyday wear clothing. Not to say there's none at all, but it's like very few. And a lot of the clothes I felt like were repeats of other clothes that we've gotten in the past. And again, we'll talk about hairstyles, but I also felt like it was similar to that as well. I get that this is a pack where you're going on dates, like it's, you know, emphasizing the date stuff a lot. All the OGs know who've been playing The Sims 4 since 2014 knows a lot of the packs were catered to young adults. At one point, The Sims 4 felt like a young adult simulator because that's like what most of the packs were focusing on, was just that life stage. And we got so many different types of, you know, just revealing sexy like crop top, short dresses, and all this other stuff for our Sims, because that's like what was the main focus at the time, you know, especially with get together, going out to clubs and going out to parties. Like that's like what was the main focus. To kind of come back to that and see that they're still doing stuff like this with the crop tops and the short skirts and all this other stuff, it's kind of like, bro, like we've seen this before. Again, I do like some of the stuff here. Like definitely a standout for me was one of the crop tops in the game. I like the forbidden pants. I think everyone loves forbidden pants for different reasons. So to see that in The Sims 4 is a nice addition for sure. So again, I'm not trying to say everything cast is like recycled stuff. I feel like they need to start thinking outside the box and start just doing different stuff. But yeah, looking at the female cast side, it does have a lot of different accessories, different types of shoes. There's not really too many options, and again, a lot of the full body stuff, which I was really disappointed in, was just costume stuff from the costume chest, costume box, whatever. I felt like that was them taking shortcuts and just kind of copying out. Like they easily could have added just more normal full body stuff, but they didn't. I feel like the costume box could have been just locked to the chest stuff, pun intended. That was a really bad joke. I wasn't even trying to be a joke, but it just made sense to say that. But anyways, yeah, it's pretty disappointing, bro. Now what I will say is the tattoos in this pack are amazing. It is crazy to me because I'm not really a tattoo person in real life or in like Sims. I don't usually put tattoos on my Sims, but the tattoos in this pack were actually really good. I think one of the standouts is the one where the Sim has like the different names crossed out on their arms. So that to me is really cool because it kind of like gives that story, like this person has had past lovers and it doesn't work out because maybe they jump into relationships too fast. You have this like rose tattoo on the back. I didn't show off all the swatch colors because it does change, but again, the tattoos in this pack were amazing. I want them to do more tattoos because I had fun putting different tattoos on my Sims. Overall, I really do like the tattoos. Now on the masculine side, it was pretty bad. Like it was worse than it's ever been. I had a really hard time trying to find masculine clothing for my male Sims because all of it was just revealing stuff. Like there was this one shirt that had like jewels on it. It looked like something like the Vision would wear from like Avengers. There was one where the nipples were cut out, so like the males had their just nipples sticking out. So like to me, that's like if you go to the club, you're just waiting for someone to just like pull on your nipples. Like I don't want to do anything sexual, just tug on my nipples type energy. It's so kinky and weird, and it's like I get like that's the theme of the pack, but that was mostly what the clothing was for the masculine frame. It just made no sense to me. I mean, there was this one shirt that's like for both genders. It was a crop top on top of another crop top, and it's just like, what is the Sims team's obsession with crop tops, bro? It was ridiculous. I really do feel like they just don't give a damn about male Sim players, bro. It's really just unfortunate because I feel like this game could cater to a lot of different players if they just started making packs or just advertising them for all genders and not just for the Sim girlies. And it's not just the male Sim players who are saying this, it's also the Sim girlies as well. Like they want masculine clothing for their masculine men. So it is definitely really disappointing to see that, like, you know, they're just shafting male Sims. It's just really not fair. There's also some new accessories like earrings, and then they have some makeup. Eyelashes are finally in the game. I actually do like the eyelashes that are introduced in this pack. I don't like the eyelashes that we have in base game. They look like very chunky and clumpy. Again, if you choose the eye preset, make sure it doesn't have any like eyelashes on it, because it's gonna look like just really weird. Overall, the accessories are okay. I'm not gonna lie, like I actually do like the makeup that is on the female sim here. I think her name is Anika. I really like the lipstick and like the, I don't know, like the full makeup. Like I like how it looks on her sim, on her complexion. They definitely could have added more though, like for sure. Now the hairstyles. Again, the hairstyles in this pack are very, very redundant, bro. It's the same shit over and over. We've seen these hairstyles in different packs, but just like different variations of it. I personally want to see more long hairstyles in the game. I know a lot of people are also begging for this more, you know, diversity when it comes to hairstyles. Yeah, like I feel like they definitely could have added more. Like they can definitely add more cultures to this game. I don't know what's going on with these hairstyles, man. It's just the same shit over and over, and I feel like, again, go to the drawing board and start just coming up with different hairstyles. Like it's not that hard. You have so many cultures, so much like just inspiration to look at. They need to start just doing better when it comes to the hairstyles, because it's the same shit over and over. And it's getting boring. It's getting boring. But yeah, overall the cast is pretty bad. I'm not gonna hold you guys, the cast is pretty bad. I didn't really like, you know, the bottoms, the shirts. They were pretty basic. A lot of the graphic tees, I feel like I like how the graphic tees look, but I don't like the design that's on them, if that makes sense. I don't like the actual designs. I feel like they could have done a better job. I think my favorite thing that I like was the graphic tee. And then you have like the jacket with like that little like name brand. Can we please get more like name brand stuff as well? I really like the name brand clothing where they have like the name brand of like whatever clothing. I think that's really cool. This jacket is like my favorite with the zipper, and then the soccer jersey, amazing. Really nice. A lot of the underwear and lingerie were really good. I do like the lingerie and underwear. I expected them to obviously make it kind of weird, because it is, I did expect them to make it like all sexy and stuff because it's a romance pack. It makes sense. I don't really have an issue with that because I get it. But overall, bro, the cast is really bad, man. It's not good. It's not good. I just think the cast is just unfortunately not that good, to be honest. But yeah, cast is pretty bad. So if you are a person who loves cast, it's not going to be the best. One thing I also did notice too was one of the full outfits, it was like the whole wrestling outfit, it took away his facial hair, and his hair was like whatever, like okay, his hair is inside the mask, but like his facial hair was gone. So I don't know if that's a glitch or something, but I found that kind of stupid. Like, why is his facial hair just completely gone? So yeah, overall, yeah, nah, the cast was not it. Now moving on, there is new turn on and turn offs. So this makes this like the dating experience a lot more complex and just more detailed. It's not just a typical, oh, like let me flirt, compliment. They now have it where you can make it more complex. So let's say you are a person who likes giving gifts to other sims. You can have it where sims dislike getting gifts, or you can have it where sims, you know, love physical touch. They love all the physical stuff, but they don't like receiving compliments, which is a real thing. Some people don't like, you know, receiving compliments because they just feel weird about it. Maybe they haven't received compliments in the past, so like they don't like that stuff. But yeah, this turn off and turn off system just adds like an extra layer to what we've had previously with growing together when we had the conversation topics, which is nice that they kind of like added that on the top. It's not like a separate thing. So for example, I made one of my sims basically a loser. Like he likes basically rich sims, but he's like a slob, he's like broke, he's not ambitious, he's lazy. And then like for storytelling purposes, I want to make a sim now who is a very neat sim, who's not like a glutton sim, who I don't know, maybe he's vegetarian, whatever, but they're also very ambitious, they're successful. They also happen to like losers. And when I think of that, I think of that one episode from Futurama where they have like that new boss, and like she checks Fry's locker, and his locker is just disgusting. She kicks everybody out, and she's like, bro, like why is your locker so disgusting? And she falls for him because she's like around neat freaks and other people like her. So she has like this whole I don't know like the word to use, but she basically is down bad for people who are just dirty sims. So like that's kind of like what I went for when I made that sim. Like I wanted someone who is the opposite of him, but like likes basically someone that has like no ambition, who's like dirty and sloppy. So like that's kind of like what this pack offers. It makes you customize your Sims's like interests, so it's a lot more real, or you can just make it stupid and crazy. Now, Lovestruck does have two new traits, the first one being romantically reserved. I actually really liked how this trait worked. I noticed when my sim was getting flirted with another sim in the household, she was kind of like hesitant because she's like, oh, like this person's flirting with me, it's unwanted flirting, I just want him to get to know me first before they start doing that. And I did play test this a lot. I've noticed that if like my sim obviously took their time getting to know that sim that had that trait, it was more successful than me just flirting right away. They actually got a tense moodlet that lasted like, I want to say like 8-9 hours in sim game, which was basically the whole day. And they were just like, yeah, like I don't want all this flirting, like let's take it slow. But again, I know like the whole mood stuff is kind of like a gimmick at this point with the Sims 4, and not everyone like cares about like, you know, moodlets and stuff like, oh, this makes me tense, this makes me sad. But I did like the fact that like it was a lot harder to, you know, get with that sim because she wasn't like into the whole flirting stuff, which is like realistic. So I give them credit for that, for making it realistic. It wasn't like I could just spam the flirting interaction and then it would work. Like it did not work at all. The sim was like, no, like you're doing too much. And like they both had like the embarrassed mood as well. And with the love bug trait, like it's definitely like the opposite of that. So this sim basically just loves love. You know, they are the type of person to kind of fall fast for somebody. Like you have the option to basically just, you know, marry someone very quickly after like getting romantically involved with them. And there's like a whole interaction, like you can like marry someone very quickly, which is funny, or get engaged, I mean. So there's stuff like that. They also become very flirty very quickly if they like watch like the romance channel, which I think is the telenovela. I forgot the romance channel name, or like reading a romance novel. And they also can develop a fear of being alone too. So that's a thing. There's also two new fears. One is like basically Sims are scared of like physical touch, and the other one is a fear of like being alone. Not gonna lie, the love bug is very similar to what we've seen before in base game with like just like the flirty trait. So that's where it kind of does get a little bit confusing, and it's something I definitely need to play more with. But yeah, the traits I would say are almost different enough, but I wouldn't say the traits are like, you know, groundbreaking. I definitely like the romantic reserve trait just a little bit more because it does add a little bit more difficulty to the game if you do make a sim that has that trait. But yeah, just keep that in mind. I wouldn't say the traits are like mind-blowingly different, but it does add some spice to your game. Honestly, nothing crazy and nothing that we haven't really seen before. Now, Lovestruck does come with two new aspirations, the first one being the romantic explorer aspiration. Now, the romantic explorer trait definitely has a lot more going on, but it does feel like a tutorial a lot of the times. Like it's just like, oh, embrace this person, do this, woohoo there. It's just more of like a tutorial. It's not really like, it definitely is the more challenging one out of the two, but it's not like super exciting, which is like really disappointing. So just keep that in mind. I want aspirations similar to what we got with werewolves, where like it starts off as just like one aspiration, but then it can go down to like branching trees. I want more of that in our EPs because I feel like this was just another tutorial. We've seen this so many times, like for example with like Sims 4 City Living. It's just like, oh, go to this place, go to that place, try this food. Like it wasn't really anything exciting. Now with the Paragon partner aspiration, you're just mostly discussing romantic boundaries, having 2 or more partners, and just going on dates. It's actually short too. It's literally just 1 tier. So I don't know, bro. The aspirations in the Sims 4 haven't really been that exciting. I feel like they can do a better job with aspirations like this. It just feels kind of mid. When I think aspirations, I think something that's challenging, that's gonna make me actually like sweat in a Sims game, which I know sounds so cringe, but it's like I'm expecting something with like a type of difficulty, a challenge, and you don't really get that with these aspirations, unfortunately. The romantic explorer definitely will take you some time because you have to like go through the romance skill, but yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like both aspirations are kind of mid. So yeah, which is definitely like unfortunate. Now looking at the neighborhood overview, there is 3 neighborhoods, there's 8 residential, 1 rental, and 4 community lots, which is a total of 13 lots altogether. And there's 3 areas, one being Vista Hermosa, Mario Plaza, and Nuevo Corazon. Now overall, looking at Vista Hermosa, this is definitely a very beautiful place. This is definitely more of like a tight-knit community. This is definitely more of like a residential place. There's also like this park where there's like a lake there. Your Sims can go fishing or go swimming, and if you have growing together, you can click the sign and go on jogs or walks with other Sims. It's a very beautiful neighborhood, bro. Like overall, this is like one of my favorite worlds just because of how beautiful it looks. I will say that it wasn't too empty. Also a new bar called the Abrazo. I'm not gonna try to say the whole name, I apologize. It's a nice little bar. It's okay. It's definitely a good place to kind of just go out on like a friend date. It's a nice place to go to if you're just starting out in like the neighborhood. You just want to, you know, go meet people. It's like a cool vibe. Now there is also a motel. You can go there and sleep there if you want to, or you can take your significant other and woohoo there. You can sleep there for as long as you want. My sim actually had full energy when he went in there, and they never kicked them out. Like, it was just there forever. So yeah, that's the thing. And then again, you can woohoo. You can't actually go in and do anything though. It's a rabbit hole. But maybe this is a sign that motels or hotels are coming. Now the second spot I think is Corazon. This is definitely the city living area. A lot of people in stream were saying that this was like the arts quarter. Some people were saying that this is like 2 hours away from San Myshuno. There also is another gym that is included that your sims can go to, and there is a penthouse building that your sims can live in, which is nice. But yeah, the gym itself looks really cool. I like that there's a curved swimming pool. There is some new gym equipment. I'm gonna be honest though, I am kind of disappointed that they didn't really give us new lot types. It's just always the same bars, libraries, and then gym stuff. I don't really understand like the reason behind that. I want to see just new lot types, new things to do. It doesn't really make any sense to me. I'm kind of confused why they keep doing the same stuff. I feel like at this point it's been like almost a decade now. Like, let's start doing new stuff. Let's like innovating the game, changing it up a bit. It's just really weird to me. By the way, the gym is called Sador. So that's the name. And then we have the Della Amor, I can't even say it. That is the nightclub. I actually think this is like my favorite community lot like in the Sims 4 Lovestruck expansion pack. Whoever built this did a really amazing job. All the other builds have been good as well though. I'm not saying like anyone's like worse, but I really liked you know, this like specific nightclub. They definitely should make like more creators create their builds. They have been doing that, but I feel like they should just keep it like that because they make really amazing builds. It's a nice little spot to go to on a date for sure. If you want to just go dancing or just meet somebody, it's a really cool spot. And then lastly, I have Plaza Mariposa. So this is kind of like a really just giant park. This is another place you can actually, if you have Growing Together, you can like jog and walk with like other sims. There's a beautiful lake. I try to do some like b-roll for you guys. This is like me just being extra, but it was like probably one of my favorite spots in this new world. It's just such a vibe. It kind of has like a mix, honestly, of the two. It has like the city vibe, but also like the residential vibe. And I don't know if it's because of the new lot trait that comes with the new pack, which is singles lot trait. It basically just like has singles just come to your spot, which was kind of weird because I saw a lot of people who were usually like, you know, in like relationships come to that spot. So I'm like, did like the storytelling stuff have you guys break up and that's why you're here? But yeah, I thought it was really cool to see like just different couples like stargazing or like watching the clouds together. I don't know if like, I don't know how that's what's going on with that, but I wish they could do this more of just like other stuff. Like just watching Sims autonomously just do that was so cool to me. It really just made the world feel more lived in. Another thing too, like I felt like with each world, it didn't feel like it was too empty. I feel like the city world, the other one with like the gym and the penthouse, felt a little bit empty, but the other ones felt like kind of real. Like I saw people just riding bikes, going into like the lake to swim. They're just jogging. Like it was cool to see that. It felt like the world was actually lived in. It didn't feel too empty. Again, the world is way too big. I feel like they definitely should make the world smaller. Like why do we have all this big spaces to go nowhere? It made no sense to me. To say that's like super empty and dead, like I feel like that's kind of like a stretch. Like no, but it's definitely not packed like outside, but it definitely does feel like there's people living in that world. And when you go to like these different lots and you see all these people kind of jumble up, it kind of feels like, it just feels like the world is alive. So I don't know what happened, what changed, but I definitely like that. But yeah, like I said, overall, I wish we did get new lot types. You know, this bigger lot size, you know, 13 lots is kind of on the small side, to be honest. I feel like having a festival would have been cool too. I just feel like it was just kind of missing. There are vendors and stuff around you can get food from, but I feel like a festival just made this pack a little bit better. And not like some basic ass like, you know, empty festival from like For Rent, but something similar to like City Living or like Snowy Escape. I think that would have been really cool. Overall, the world is okay. It's not bad compared to like For Rent, but it's not good either. It's just okay. Just having more lot types and stuff would have been a lot better. So yeah, moving on to the gameplay. So we start off with one of my shims named Sean. He's single, he's attracted to both men and women, and I made him go on the Cupid Corners app. Now, the Cupid Corners app was a little bit disappointing as well, because one thing I noticed is you can't write a description on your profile, like a custom description to kind of like describe who your sim is as a person. They do this in a clever way by using your traits as a way to kind of describe themselves. Like, I describe myself as a glutton and childish, you know. So that was like kind of weird. I think that was a missed opportunity for sure, but it is what it is. Now, I did notice when I used Cupid Corner, it took a long time for it to load like matches for me, which was weird. It was just like a heart floating around for like a good, like, I don't know, like 10 seconds. So yeah, that's a thing. Now, you do have the option to take a picture if you want to like change your picture, or you can use the one that is like pre-existing. I actually do like the pre-existing pictures that they give you by default. Like, they don't look bad at all. So there's that. I like the fact that you can also, like any real dating app, filter like the age group. So if you want young adult, or elder, or you can have all three or just one. Like, I think that's really cool. And you can obviously change your traits. It doesn't matter if you have a trait from like Create a Sim, or you like earned a trait in game, or you got one from like the reward store. You can pick whatever trait you wanted to use to describe your sim. So I think that's really cool. Now, you have 3 categories. You have basically your profile, your matches, and your saved matches. So whenever you see someone that you like, you can heart them, and then you can put them on your save. So if you go on a date with someone that you instantly match with, and it doesn't work out, you can always go back to Cupid's Corner and go to your save section and then pick someone that has been saved and then go on a date with them. You can also add them to your contacts. So if you don't want to go through Cupid's Corner to like set up the date and you want it to just be more traditional, you can also do that as well. And just to let you guys know too, that like the Cupid Corner dating stuff doesn't override like what we have in base game. So if you still want to go on like regular dates before Lovestruck, you can still do that. Now, with Cupid's Corner, they have it set up to where you can go through 7 different matches. If you don't like any of them, you can also refresh and go through another 7. So that's like what, 14 total. And you can also have it where you can match with sims off the gallery, or you can have it just be like strictly from your game. So you can have that option to turn it on or off, and you can filter it by occults as well. So if you don't want to match with like a werewolf or like a vampire, you can also turn that off. And if you find something that's like inappropriate, I guess, or I don't know, like the name or like the sim's face or whatever, you can actually report them, which I didn't even know you could do. It gave me the option to report a sim because like they were bald. So I don't so like I don't know, like they want me to report her because she was bald. Like, I was confused with that. But yeah, you can report them and give a description why. It can be like harassment, threats, or like inappropriate content. So that's the thing. Again, if they had that implemented, I still don't know why we couldn't have made a description for sims. Like, I don't know if they're scared people are going to say crazy shit. I don't know. And depending on your turn on and turn offs, your sims will either have a like, you know, big turn on for a sim or a turn off. It'll show in like pink or red or whatever if there's a turn on, and blue if there's a turn off. So if you want to have like a very spicy day, you can go with somebody who's like not compatible. So I guess the storytelling behind that is like, for example, maybe you're attracted to the sim physically, but they're a turn off because like they don't have like, you know, their traits, like their traits don't match with your sim's traits. Now, I didn't mention this earlier, but I do find it ridiculous that like turn ons and turn offs are based off like, you know, a sim's like hair color, or like they're wearing like a red or yellow shirt or blue green pants. Like, I feel like that's just so stupid. Dating apps obviously are very, you know, superficial. Like, they're all about physical, you know, for the most part. So I feel like if you're gonna do a dating app that's, you know, representing real life, that's trying to be realistic, then you should go that route and make it like believable. I get why they do it, because I know some people are not okay with like physical stuff, but you know, physical looks do matter to a certain degree. A lot of people agree with that. So to not have that, I feel like was kind of weird. So just keep that in mind. Now, we did match with Monica as well. There is a lot of lore with these characters, which I really did like. I think Monica is dating Manuel. It's not Manuel. I kept saying Manuel, which is apparently his like Monica's daughter's like friend from high school. So you'll get like lore like that. There's a lot of different lore and like this funny stuff with like the pre-existing sims and Lovestruck. So I thought that was really cool. So yeah, there's stuff like that. Now, I have my sim Sean here on a date with Monica. We went to the park And from here, for the most part, they actually do have like big attraction with each other. I wouldn't say it's like super attraction, but like she is attracted to Sean and he's attracted to her. And again, what I like with Lovestruck is like there is like complex romance here. You have to figure out like kind of like their boundaries, stuff that they like, stuff that they don't like. Now with the dating event itself, you do pick like where you want to go and the type of interactions you can do. So depending on what packs you have, like let's say you have like cats and dogs, you can have it where you can like, you know, interact with dogs and cats together like when you're on the date, and you can pick like up to 3. I think there's like a maximum of like 7, 10, or 11. I'm sorry, I don't remember. I have it on the screen, but it's like so small. But yeah, there is like a maximum, but it doesn't matter how many like things you pick, like whether it's just like you want your sim to woohoo or kiss or get dinner or just watch the stars, you have to do a minimum of 10 interactions, and that's just to get to like near silver. I was kind of scared that the dating stuff with the new pack was going to be like on the, you know, less challenging side, but even with the stuff that you pick, you still need to do like at least 10 interactions. I was kind of confused how many interactions I needed to do to get to like gold. It was very, I wouldn't say difficult, but challenging, because like I just kept doing different interactions the game told me to do. I guess depending on what type of interactions you choose, the game will tell you to do those like related interactions or those specific interactions. So yeah, the game is kind of confusing when it comes to that, because it doesn't really tell you like how many interactions you need to do to get gold. You just have to keep doing it until like the meter goes up, even after you've done all the main stuff that you choose on the date. So that was kind of weird. Now what's interesting too with the autonomy of like the Sims, they're like a lot smarter. Like if they're enjoying like their date, they'll be like, hey, do you want to extend the date? They'll be like, hey, do you want to go back to your place? There's also a chance Sims will like propose to you, which is really cool. Like in my game, I didn't get this, but like 2 Sims had broken up, and then one Sim had to call that Sim and said, hey, like I want to get back together. So like the NPC Sims will call your Sims, and that's like kind of like the meat and potatoes of this pack. I feel like if you are a first-time simmer and you're like looking to get an EP, I wouldn't go with this pack, just because this is more for veterans. And I feel like on the surface, people are gonna be like, what did I pay like $40 for? Now there also is relationship labels that you can create, which I feel like is really, really cool. You can pick like different icons and you can just type in your own relationship stuff. So like you can say situationship and, you know, have like a icon to kind of represent that, which I thought was really cool. And you'll see that in like the Sims' relationship panel, or you can open up their profile as well. Now, because I had Sean and Monica be really physical with each other, the game prompted me to say, hey, do you want to make your new romance dynamic steamy? So there is 4 different dynamics. There's wholesome, steamy, strained, and unpredictable. Unpredictable is probably like the most like crazy one, because like Sims will like be romantic with each other, but they can also just like argue like this randomly. Steamy is definitely a lot more physical. The strain one was pretty cool as well, because I did have 2 Sims in the household who were together, but like they did not like each other. They didn't find each other attractive, I guess, not physically, but just in terms of like interest and stuff. And that Sim would always kind of like think about her like with like this thought bubble of like how much the relationship was strained, which I thought was really cool. So it kind of like was weighing on them, like, damn, like, you know, our relationship is strained, it's not working out. I feel like even with this review, it's only scratching the surface of like what you can do in this game. So my final verdict, my final thoughts, I feel like you guys kind of know what I'm about to say. So just a few things to kind of add in here before I end. There is like this mysterious blue bear that you can talk to, and he'll give you like a quest to go find like this ring. I don't want to spoil too much. You guys have not already seen it, because again, this pack has been out for like a month now. But yeah, that's a whole thing. So definitely talk to that bear, because there's like a lot of stuff that can happen with him. There is a level 10 romance career that your Sims can join, but it is kind of like a copy and paste of like other jobs where it says, oh, like go on the computer and research this or watch this for 2 hours. But again, like not every career has to be like a active career. I'm fine with having a rabbit hole career once in a while. And again, it is a level 10 career. It's not like level 5 or 3 or something. So that's really good. Now, what's really cool is there's actually couples counseling in the game. I did talk about that in one of my news videos. So if your Sim is in another relationship and it's kind of rocky, it's not really going too well, you can pay 1,000 simoleons to go to a couples counseling. And it is a rabbit hole. But what's really cool is like the counsel will ask you questions like, what's going on? What type of stuff do you want to focus on to help fix the relationship? Ensure where you choose like the different paths to explore. You can choose these different options. Like you can say like you want to focus on the attraction level. I had 2 Sims, like I said earlier, who just liked each other physically, but because of their traits, their personality, what they like and dislike, they just didn't get along. So I had them actually go to couples counseling, and I said I wanted them to work on their attraction level, because that was like the biggest thing. They weren't attracted to each other, but they were engaged, so it just made no sense. Now the counselor will ask the sim 2 different questions, and when everything was said and done, only one of my sims got like a really good positive buff. He was like more focused for like 8 hours, and basically his goal was just to focus on his partner being more attracted to him. But she got embarrassed Mulet from going to couples counseling, because I don't know, it was just like she just felt like it wasn't really working. And even after all the couples counseling, when they sat down and talked, they just didn't really vibe with each other. Now, in my playtesting, I noticed that like it really just depends on the interactions that you choose, because I think my sim did mention how much he liked basic fashion, and she was just like, I don't like basic fashion. So whenever they did try to talk to each other just normally without even me really doing anything, they got into another argument even after his couples counseling. So again, the social interaction is here, guys. Like, it's really cool to see the Sims and the Sims 4 act smarter and do all these things autonomously. I don't know if I'm saying that word right. It's cool to see that they're just a lot smarter. Now, I most definitely probably missed some stuff, but this was my kind of just perspective on Lovestruck. Now, if I had to give it like a ranking out of 10, I usually don't do rankings. I just say whether or not you should buy it. I would give it like a 6.5 out of 10. I want to give it a 7 because I really feel like the social aspect is what's carrying this pack. It's unfortunate that the build and buy is really shit. It's unfortunate that the cast is really shit. Now, would I recommend you guys buy this pack, wait for a sale, or just like never touch it? I would say buy this pack on sale. Now, if you guys want to buy this pack, but you guys don't want to spend the full 40 or whatever the currency is, because I know it's a lot higher in different countries. Trust me, I know. You can use my link in the description. You will get it at a 28% discount, so you're not going to be paying that full price. But if you still can't justify buying it for that price, I completely understand. I personally think this is a really good game pack. I don't think this is worth $40 because everything else surrounding the gameplay is lacking. And I feel like a lot of corners were being cut with this pack. And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and say, oh, like the social part is just so good that it's just worth the $40 or it's worth like the 28% discount. Like, no, like it's lacking a lot in a lot of different areas. And I can't in good faith like sit here and lie to you guys and say it's worth getting. I think this is a pack you should wait for sale when it's like 20, 25. It's not worth that full 40, unfortunately. It is a very fun pack, and I think this is a pack that does have a lot of replayability, especially if you are a new simmer who's like starting to play the Sims 4 for the first time and you're like thinking of what packs to buy. I would recommend you buy this pack as your first pack, because this is again something for veterans, people who have been playing the game for a long time. This is not a pack you get as like a first time simmer. I would use that money for something a lot more cheaper, like seasons. But yeah, this is it for my review. I know it's a really late review. This is like a month-old pack now, but again, I want to thank you guys so much for the support on the channel and this allowing me to do stuff like this for you guys on the platform. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. So again, just thank you so much for the support. This has been your boy Superior Simmer. Stay cool, stay awesome, stay simming, and have a good day.